Why the strength is very less? Answer this question. Yes, everybody give your answer for the poll question. I'm going to end the poll now. Submit your answer. The question is Caesar cipher. Consider the Caesar cipher and find out the plain text. Sorry, cipher text for a given plain text. Plain text is cryptography. So we know that Caesar cipher means each character should be added with 3, C plus 3 and R plus 3. So key value is 3 in Caesar cipher, whereas in other, shift cipher will take key value from 1 to 26. Caesar cipher is a special case in shift cipher. So C plus 3 means first we need to take the integer position, like A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, like that. This is for A, B, C. So we'll get C, D, E, F. For C we'll get F, and for R we'll get U. So like that. Suppose if we take Y, in cryptography Y is there. Y plus 3 means 25 plus 3, because numerical value of Y is 25 plus 3 is 28. But there is no alphabet associated with 28 because there are only 26 alphabets. What we need to do, 28 mod 26, because so it will give the circular manner, like after Y, Z, A, B. So Y will be replaced with B. Y will be substituted with B. So always whatever the alphabet we are taking, we need to take mod with 26. So a number mod with 26 will give the same number if the number is less than the value. So here 28 mod 26 means it will give the value 2. 2 is nothing but B. So in the last class we discussed, so actually there are two types of classical encryption techniques are divided into two types. One is substitution techniques, other one is the transposition techniques. Substitution techniques, plain text will be replaced with some other alphabet. If plain text is a series of alphabets, it will be replaced with the alphabet again. So coming to the transposition, so plain text will be rearranged. So in substitution, again there are two types. One is monoalphabetic, the other one is the polyalphabetic. In monoalphabetic, we discussed Caesar cipher, shift cipher, and the simple substitution cipher. So in simple substitution cipher, we just consider this example. There is an encryption function, decryption function. So here in this case, every alphabet is mapped with one alphabet. Every alphabet is, there is a permutation with every alphabet. That itself is a key. Sometimes, so plain text will be there and key will be there. So key will be like a word, a single word. Then how can we generate the ciphertext for a given plain text using the substitution techniques for a given key is, first we have to take the plain text. We have to take the first we have to take the alphabets, all these alphabets in the order. So substitution technique, some plain text is there and some key is there. Then what will be the ciphertext? What we need to do is we need to take the alphabets. So A, B, C, like this. And if key is some word, okay, key is some word. Suppose key is some class. And this plain text is like some CNS subject, whatever. So how can we do this is, first we have to write the key. So in place of A, the permutation should be like this. We should not write any permutation. Instead, if a key is there, specific key is there, then first we need to write entire key, CL, A, S. In place of E, again S is there, but no need to repeat, only one time. CL, A, S. Then we need to write the sequence of alphabets. So here we need to start with A, but already A is over. We can write D. Here we are supposed to write C, but C is already over. We need to write D. Then E. So in place of H, we need to write F, like this. Like this, we need to give the permutation for a given key. And the corresponding ciphertext will be, so the plain text is CNS. So in place of C, what is the corresponding character? A. So we can take that A. Whatever the character we get in N, so we'll take that. So that is the procedure for a given key in the substitution technique. So if directly the decryption and encryption permutation is given like this, we can directly write. But if it is not given, like if there is any keyword, so first we have to substitute. The keyword here. Then we need to write the sequence of alphabets. And we discussed this plain text cipher in the last class. Coming to the next type of encryption technique is Hill cipher. So Hill cipher is a polygraphic substitution cipher. So it is also one substitution cipher. So the procedure is, it uses linear algebra. How a plain text will be converted to the ciphertext for a given key is, here every alphabet will be represented with a numerical value. Like here, A will be represented with 0, B will be 1. So like this, finally Z will be represented with 25. Then we need to take the plain text. So if the plain text has n letters, okay, plain text has n letters, we need to take a key of size n by n. Then multiply. So we need to multiply the. This key matrix with the plain text matrix. So procedure is, first we need to take the plain text. If plain text has n characters, then we need to take a key n by n matrix. So here plain text should be represented in a matrix format. And the key should be represented by n matrix format. Then these two should be multiplied. This key matrix as well as the plain text should be multiplied. The resultant matrix will give the ciphertext. So we'll see one example. So plain text is at. Simply a word at. It has three numbers, right? Alphabets. Then the size of the key should be 3 by 3. That is, the size of the key should be 9 alphabets. The key size should be 9 alphabets. So here the size is 9 alphabets. Key is G by B N Q K U R P is a key. So once we get the plain text and key, what we need to do is we need to take a matrix format. So in matrix, we need to take only the numerical values. Actually, plain text is at. So instead of writing A here, we need to represent in a, if there are 3 letters, so 3 by 1. Okay, so 3 by 1 matrix. Each alphabet should be represented in a row. So here at is the plain text. So we need to take its numerical value. So from this table, A value is 0, C value is 2, and T value is 19. So 0, 2, and 19. So that is why the plain text matrix is represented with 0, 2, and 19. And then key matrix should be represented. So in the same manner, so G by B, N, Q, K, U, R, P. So G, what is the numerical value of G? So G value is 6. And Y, B. And numerical value of Y is 24. And numerical value of B is 1. So that is why 6, 24, 1 is there. Next, N, Q, K, U, R, T. So we need to take the numerical value of every alphabet. That should be represented in the key matrix. Once we get the key matrix and the plain text matrix, we need to multiply key matrix with the plain text matrix. So by multiplying the key matrix with plain text matrix, we'll get this result. Okay, so after getting this result, what we need to do is we have to take the mod with this number. 67 is the result. By multiplying key matrix with plain text matrix, result is 67. 67 mod, we need to take mod 26 because there are only 26 alphabets. And 222 mod 26. 319 mod 26. All we need to do mod with the 26. Then we'll get this result 15, 14, and 7. So once we do mod with 26, all will be ranged from 0 to 25. So 15, 14, 7 is the ciphertext matrix. So this is the ciphertext matrix. But again, the ciphertext should be represented in the alphabet format. So whatever the corresponding alphabet is associated with 15, we need to take. So 15 will be associated, 15 is associated with P. So from the 15 means P. So like that, we need to take 14 is associated with O and 7 is associated with H. That is why ciphertext is POH. So plain text is at and the ciphertext is POH. So this is the procedure of the Hill cipher. Simply, we have to take a plain text of size and letters. Then we need to take a key matrix of size n by n. Then multiply plain text matrix with key matrix. Then do mod with 26. Then whatever the result we get, that will be the ciphertext. Once we get the ciphertext at receiver side, if the receiver is Bob has to decrypt it. So in order to decrypt, first we have to find out the inverse matrix of the key matrix. What are the key matrix we just considered for encryption, that we need to find out the inverse of that matrix. So after finding the inverse matrix, we need to multiply that inverse matrix with the ciphertext. If you observe, this is the inverse matrix and this is the ciphertext matrix. these two will be multiplied and do mod with the result. If the result is 260, so we need to take 260 mod 26. 574 mod 26, like that. So here we'll get the resultant matrix. So that resultant matrix represents the plain text. So 0 is nothing but A, 2 is nothing but C, 19 is T. Again, we got the plain text at receiver side. This is the procedure of Hill cipher. Understood? Hello, respond.
Yes, ma'am.
And the next type of polyalphabetic cipher is Vishnish cipher. So how the plain text will be converted to the cipher text using this technique. Here, plain text will be divided into blocks. So if the size of plain text is like n number of alphabets, it will be divided into some blocks. And each block will be encrypted using the key. Again, the key will be divided into the blocks. Not the key will be divided. I mean, every block of the plain text should be encrypted. So if the first block is x1, x1 is a plain text. So that will be encrypted with k1, and x2 will be encrypted with k2, block 2. So like that, all the blocks will be encrypted with the corresponding key. So we'll see one example. So again, here in this Vishnish cipher, entire plain text should be represented with numerical values. Like A is represented with 0, B is 1, and finally Z is 25. Then we need to specify the block size. M is equals to 6 means it is the block size. So that how can we say that it is 6 is? It is all depends on the size of the key. Key is cipher. Key is a word here. So that word is a cipher. It has 6 characters. I mean 6 alphabets. So the size, the plain text will be divided into n number of blocks where the size of each block is 6 alphabets. So once we take the key, we need to take the numerical value of this key. So see, A is 0 means C is 2 and I is represented with 8. P is 15, like this. So we need to take the numerical values of all the key alphabets. Then we need to take the plain text. So here the plain text is, this crypto system is not secure. Okay. And then what we need to do, how can we get the plain ciphertext for this is, so this crypto system is not secure. In this, we have to divide that into 6, we have to divide into multiple blocks. Every block should have the 6 characters, 6 alphabets. So first block consists of this crypto, CR, this CR. So T is nothing but 19. So we need to take the numerical value of that alphabet. So numerical value of T is 19, and numerical value of H is 7, and numerical value of I is 8. S is 18, C is 2, and R is 17. Like that, we need to take the numerical values of every alphabet of the plain text. Coming to the key, key is a single word, that is cipher, which is represented with 28157417. So this is the key. It will be repeated with every block. Okay, it will be repeated with every block. And in order to generate the ciphertext, these two will be added, the plain text as well as the key. So 19 plus 2, 21, 7 plus 8, 15, 23, 18 plus 7, 25, 2 plus 4, 6, 17 plus 7, 17, 8. So if you observe this, actually 17 plus 17 is a 34. But we have to take the modulo. So if you observe here, always we need to take the, there are only 26 alphabets, we need to take modulo with the 26. So 17 plus 17, 34 mod 26. 34 mod 26 will get the result 8. Okay, if any number after adding, if any number exceeds 26, or for each number we need to take, suppose if first number is there, 21 is there, 21 mod 26. 21 mod 26 is 21 itself. Okay, if this value, first value is less than the quotient value, then automatically we need to take the first value. So here we need to take the modulo with 26. So all the values will get between 0 to 25. So once we get the values, what we need to do is we need to take the corresponding alphabet of that number. Suppose if we take 21 and 15. So from this table, 21 value is B and 15 value is P. P. Second character is yes. So here if you observe the ciphertext. So like that for everything, for every resultant number, we need to take the corresponding alphabet. This is the procedure of Vigenère cipher. So in this Vigenère cipher is complex compared to the monoalphabetic ciphers like Caesar cipher and the shift cipher, because whatever the alphabet we are taking, that will not be replaced in a ciphertext. Every time it will not be replaced with the same letter. Instead, it will be replaced with some other letter. Suppose if you observe the plain text is, in the plain text, if you observe the S, so S is repeated many times. This crypto system, S is there. Again, so multiple times S is there in the plain text. Then if you observe the ciphertext, so in first occurrence, S is replaced with Z, second occurrence W, third occurrence U, fourth occurrence J, fifth occurrence Z again. So along with the occurrence, sometimes it is changing its ciphertext alphabet. So the cryptanalyst or the opponent will not get the frequency analysis will be tough for Vigenère cipher. If we apply the Vigenère cipher, frequency analysis will be less for the opponent. So this is about the Vigenère cipher, which is a substitution technique. So till now, whatever the techniques we discussed, all are the substitution techniques. So coming to the second type of technique is a transposition technique. So transposition technique, in this, plain text will not be replaced or substituted with some other alphabet. Instead of substituting, plain text position will be changed. Okay, so plain text, whatever the plain text is there, the sentence, only that sentence will be transmitted to the receiver over the network, but whatever the alphabets are there, only those alphabets will be there in the ciphertext, but the position will be changed so that the entire sentence will be meaningless. If the sender is sending one sentence, initially it will be a meaningful sentence. After converting that into the ciphertext, it will become a meaningless sentence. So so in this, the first technique is rail fence. So here, whatever the plain text is there, it will take the plain text. Okay, it will write the plain text in a rail fence order. So like, so first, what are the it will take the depth. What it is going to do is, whatever the text is there, plain text is there, it will arrange in a rail fence manner. Okay, in a diagonalistic manner, rail fence. Okay, In this manner, the plain text will be arranged. Again, so how much depth should be there? Okay, how many characters should be placed in this particular diagram? How many alphabets should be placed in this diagram? How many should be there? How many alphabets should be placed in this particular diagram? For that, we'll use the depth. Okay, so here we'll use a plain text and the relevance depth itself is the key. Okay, relevance depth will be used. So here the plain text is we are discovered at once. This is the plain text. How it will be converted to ciphertext is, so it will be written like this. We are discovered in this manner. So it will be written in that format. That is a relevance technique. And how the once the character letters are specified, so in order to generate the ciphertext, what it is going to do is, so it will take in a row manner. So depth is 3. So that is why in each and every depth, so in each and every depth, it is taking 3 characters. Again, 3 characters. So first WEAREDISC. So like this. Okay. So 3 rows, the depth is 3. So that is why we are getting 3 rows. So while collecting the ciphertext, it will take entire first row. Then it takes second row. Then it takes third row. So if you observe the plain text, and the generated ciphertext is this. So this is one of the transposition techniques. Coming to the second technique, that is columnar transposition technique. So in this also, only the plain text will be, plain text position will be altered. All the characters, alphabets position will be altered. So how it is going to generate the ciphertext is, so the message will be written in the form of rows, of fixed length rows, and by writing the ciphertext, it will collect in the form of the columns. So columns are chosen in a scrambled order. So we'll see how the columns will be collected. So width of the rows and the permutation of the columns are usually defined by the keyword. How many rows should be there? We'll see. We'll represent in a matrix format, array format. So first step is, we need to take the key is a word. The length of this is 6. Once we take the keyword, we have to take the position, order of the alphabets. Like among all this, Z will come last. So total length is 6. So Z will come last. So position of Z is 6. So A is the first alphabet in the order. So A will be placed 1 and B is the second alphabet. And then in that order, E will come. E is the third alphabet. Okay. And then R will come. So R is the fourth alphabet. S is the fifth alphabet. And Z is the sixth alphabet. So whatever the alphabets we are taking in the keyword, the key, we need to take the position of that one. So we have to specify that position over here. 6, 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. And this is the plain text. Then, so totally there are 6 letters in the key. So every row will get 6 letters. Okay. So every row will get 6 letters. And finally, so this one, last word is once. So it is over here. So the plain text is, so whenever we are writing in array format, it is not sufficient to the fixed number of So variable length row is coming, isn't it? The last row is length of the last row is only 1. So we can append or we can insert some dummy characters, some dummy letters. So here this is the set of dummy letters. Q, K, J, E, U is the set of dummy letters. So we can add the dummy letters, and then in order to generate the ciphertext, what we need to do is we have to take the first column. So while writing the ciphertext, we need to take the column wise. We need to take column wise alphabets. So in column 1 in the sense this one. Okay, wherever the number 1 is there, we have to take that column. So that column is E, B, L, N, E. So this is the first column. So first column should be written over here. And then we need to take the second column, E, S, E, A, Q, like this. E. So we have to take the second column, third column, fourth column, fifth column, like that. Okay. So this is the procedure of the columnar transposition technique. And how can we get the plain text from this is again, so from the we need to write in a column manner, and we have to take the number, ordering of the number, and we need to take accordingly. So that is the transposition technique. And so this transposition technique is also called as a permutation technique. So there is another method. So instead of taking this rail fence, or instead of using this entire plain text in a matrix format, simply we can take some permutation. So we can take some permutation. I mean, the entire plain text will be divided into m number of blocks, and then each block will be encrypted using the key. So key will have some order, the permutation order, like so. Here the key will be use only the plain text. It will not specify any key. Instead of that, only the plain text characters or the alphabets will be positioned by using the permutation. Means here, if the plain text characters are alphabets are in the order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, while generating the ciphertext, what it is going to do is the third alphabet will be placed over here. Next, fifth alphabet will be placed. First alphabet, sixth alphabet, fourth alphabet, and second alphabet. Like that, it will change the position of the alphabets. So that will be considered as the ciphertext. Again, at the receiver side, it will apply the reverse permutation or the inverse permutation. Inverse permutation will be applied. So whatever the third character is there, it will take, I mean, at first position, it will take the third character of the ciphertext. At second position, it will take the sixth character of the ciphertext, like that. So, example, this is the example. Defend the hill top at sunset is the plain text. How this will be converted to the ciphertext using this permutation is simply it using this technique. Alphabets will be arranged in this order 3, 5, 1, 6, 4, 2. So here all the alphabets will be arranged here. Defend will be rearranged like this 3, 5, 1, 6, 4, 2. So third character will be placed over here first, and fifth character will be placed over here. N is the position, N is in the position 5. Okay, and 1. So first character, first alphabet will be over here. Like that, within the block itself, so based on the permutation, the alphabets will be rearranged or it will be placed accordingly, so that it will get the plain text. Sorry, ciphertext. It will generate the ciphertext. Then for generating the plain text, it will apply the inverse permutation. So it will take 6 letters, and then again it will take the numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here 3, 5, 1, 6, 4, 2. 3, 5, 1, 6, 4, 2 is the order. So that in that order it will take. So the ciphertext. So ciphertext is, first we'll take the first block. F and D, D, E is the first block. So it is placed at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we need to take 3, 5, 1, 6, 4, 2. 6, 4, 2. So third character is D. So it will be placed over here. 5, 1, 6, and 4. 4 is fourth character is 3, 5, 1, 6, 4, 2. F, N, D, and second character. So second character is N. The procedure is whatever we are getting. So if we write F and D, D, E, E. Okay. So 3, 5 is 1 is F, 6 is N2. Okay, sorry, in the inverse permutation is this one, 3, 6, 1, 5, 2, 4. 3, 6, 1, 5, 2, 4 is the inverse permutation. So we need to take that 3, 6, 1, 5, 2, 4. So by considering that, we'll get the same plain text. Okay, so this is the procedure for the transposition techniques. So rail fence is one technique, and columnar transposition technique, and simply a permutation cipher. Of course, the transposition cipher itself is called as a permutation. Instead of taking a new key, a separate key. So what it is going to do is simply, it is applying some permutation over the plain text position of the plain text alphabets, so that it will generate the plain text, ciphertext. Okay, understood? Is there any doubt among all these techniques? Is it clear, or any doubt? What happened? Nobody is responding.
Yes, ma'am.
Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when whatever the technique we use, so at the opponent side, the cryptanalysis part, the opponent can do, cryptanalyst can apply the brute force mechanism, means trying all the possibilities, assuming that by seeing the plain text, ciphertext which is transmitted over the network, opponent can try with all the possibilities by applying all the encryption techniques. So encryption technique is public. Everybody knows what are the different types of encryption techniques and what is the procedure of that encryption technique. Only thing is, a key is secret. That key will be shared between the sender and the receiver. So what the cryptanalyst is going to do is, The worst case, cryptanalyst will do brute force mechanism. But if we use some techniques, then by applying the brute force technique also, cryptanalyst will easily get the plain text for a given cipher. Suppose if we use shift cipher, obviously it will have only 26 possible keys. Like we can take k value 1 to k value 26 for a given plain text. Simply we'll add. Suppose if we take value key value as 10, so for a given alphabet it will add value 10 so that it can generate. So for every alphabet value will be value 10 will be added. So if we use shift cipher or some CC cipher, it is very easy. But by using, if we use substitution technique, simple substitution technique, so where the key space is 26 factorial, there the brute force attack will be not practical. Okay. So whenever the cryptanalyst is trying to apply the brute force, so what the things should be, in order to get the plain text or the key, so first for cryptanalyst should know what is the encryption scheme is used for generating the ciphertext. And also here, if the sender is going to use that limited number of keys every time for every message, so if we use the same key, then easily cryptanalyst can get the ciphertext, plain text by applying the keys. Okay. And here, sometimes by applying the frequency analysis, so by using some substitution techniques or monoalphabetic techniques, so plain text will be easily by getting some alphabets in a given text, ciphertext. So if the cryptanalyst is able to get the some alphabets easily, the remaining plain text will be retrieved. So here, main thing is whenever whatever the technique we are using, whether it is a Hill cipher or Playfair cipher, whatever it is, so that key size should be more. If the key size is very less, so easily attacker can get the plain text. So if the key size is increased, then the complexity will be more. Okay. So mainly the problem with monoalphabetic ciphers is, so in monoalphabetic, if it is a shift cipher or the CC cipher, the possibilities, and whereas in the substitution cipher, it will have the key space 26 factorial. So it will be somewhat difficult compared to the shift cipher. So substitution technique can be used. A simple substitution technique can be used for the when we are using the monoalphabetic ciphers. So frequency analysis of the substitution cipher is, so every alphabet will be represented with a single alphabet. For every occurrence, the same alphabet will be represented. So here, so if we have the longer ciphertext, again, so even though it is a longer ciphertext, cryptanalyst can easily replace or substitute the letter, frequently occurred letter of the ciphertext will be replaced with the frequently used letter in the English. So that can easily get the plain text. Okay. So searching all the, using this substitution cipher, it is impossible. But frequency analysis will be there. So frequency analysis will be there. The English letter has the more frequency and I mean E has a more frequency, T has another the next mostly used letter, like that. So by replacing the ciphertext letter with E, T, so can easily get. And then, so what the cryptanalyst is going to do is going to take the letters and will take the frequency analysis simply. So wherever the particular alphabet is appeared, will be substituted with the highly used alphabet. If P is appeared in the ciphertext, then that can be used with T, because T is also mostly used, highly used English alphabet. So this substitution, cryptanalyst can get the can break the technique so that cryptanalyst can easily get the plain text by applying this frequency analysis part. But with the key space, it is not possible because the key space is 26 factorial. So the cryptanalyst can have the different types of attacks by using different types of data. Like cryptanalyst will have the ciphertext. Sometimes cryptanalyst can take the frequently transmitted data. Which type of data will be transmitted? Will try. So whenever sender is sending some ciphertext, it will opponent will take the size of the ciphertext and can easily guess. Opponent can try to match with the existing plain text, means regularly used plain text between the sender and the receiver. So here there will be different types of attacks, but what the Kirchhoff's principle is specifying that, so the cryptanalyst can easily whatever, even though the entire encryption algorithm is known, entire ciphertext is with the opponent, so opponent should not get the key. So once the opponent get the key, cryptanalyst get the key, so easily the plain text will be retrieved by applying that algorithm. The design should be known, I mean the algorithm should be known, but the key should be as complex as possible. Then only it will be, so a cryptanalyst will not find the plain text. So cryptanalyst will try by using these types of techniques. One is ciphertext only attack. Opponent knows only the ciphertext. By using that ciphertext, will try to find out the plain text. Second one is known plain text attack. So what the opponent will do is known plain text, in the sense the frequently used plain text, not exactly the plain text which is used. Whatever the regularly used, or whenever some ciphertext is generated, I mean that by taking that ciphertext, it will check is there any ciphertext is matching with the previous plain text messages. So like that, the cryptanalyst will check. That is the known plain text. So chosen plain text. Again, so here also attacker will take the plain text. Okay, so we'll take some plain text and try to get the match with the ciphertext. So next one is a chosen ciphertext. In this, so attacker will consider whatever the previous ciphertext is transmitted between the sender and receiver, will take that and it will compare. The opponent will compare and then try to get the key or the plain text, try to get the key so that the plain text will be retrieved. So these are the different types of attacks. So only the attacker or the cryptanalyst will know only if the cryptanalyst knows ciphertext only attack, means Cryptanalyst will know the encryption algorithm as well as the ciphertext. Known plaintext means cryptanalyst will have encryption algorithm, ciphertext, and one or more plaintext ciphertext pairs formed with the secret key. The previous or the by choosing that ciphertext, the cryptanalyst will try with multiple algorithms of the with algorithms, encryption algorithm, and so it whatever the previous ciphertext are generated for the given plain text. So by using that knowledge, cryptanalyst will try to get the key and chosen plain text. Here algorithm will be there, ciphertext will be there. So plain text message will be chosen. So the cryptanalyst will take some, will assume the plain text based on the ciphertext. Based on the generated ciphertext, the analyst will assume that this might be the plain text. So that by using that chosen plain text, the cryptanalyst will generate the key on the plain text. So chosen ciphertext. So here the ciphertext will be chosen by the cryptanalyst, and it will generate the key. I mean, the opponent will generate the key by taking the chosen ciphertext. And here chosen text means both ciphertext as well as the plain text, by considering some plain text messages or by considering some ciphertext messages. Okay, so these are the some types of attacks. So I think you have module 1 exam on, the timetable. Who is the CR of this class? CR is there? Hello? Why nobody is responding?
No, ma'am, we didn't get any timetable.
Who is CR? Create one group, or if you have any official WhatsApp group, you just add me. I will send the timetable, mid-1 timetable.
I'm one of the CRs. I'll make a group.
Okay. Otherwise, you just add me to the official group. If there is no group, at least send me a message. So I'll send to you. You can, you can send forward to your friends, your classmates. I think you have exam on Wednesday. I think we may not get any, this is the last class, I think. Monday holiday, right? And Tuesday we don't have class. So anyway, I'll upload this material in Moodle as well. If you have any doubts, you can contact me, and I'll upload the material. If you have any doubts, you can stay, otherwise you can leave. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.